The morning sun had barely risen when Mia, Sam, and Leo stood side by side outside the tall courthouse building. The air was cool, and the streets were slowly waking up with people going to work and children heading to school. But for the three triplets, today was a day they would never forget. Mia, the oldest by just a few minutes, looked around nervously. Her dark eyes scanned the crowd, hoping to find someone who would help her family stay together. Sam, her twin brother, tried to look brave, but his hands were shaking slightly. Leo, the youngest, clung to his mother's hand tightly, feeling the nervous energy all around him. Their mother, Anna, stood in front of them. She was tired but determined. Anna had been fighting a long, hard battle to keep her children safe and with her. The courthouse was where decisions were made, decisions that could change their lives forever. Anna took a deep breath and looked at her children. "Stay close," she said softly. "No matter what happens, we have each other." The triplets nodded. They trusted their mother more than anyone else in the world. She had taken care of them since they were born, waking up every night to feed them, helping them with homework, and comforting them when they were scared. But today was different. Today, they were not just fighting for a home. They were fighting for their family. Inside the courthouse, the air smelled of polished wood and paper. The sounds of footsteps and murmured conversations filled the hallways. Anna and the triplets walked together, their shoes echoing on the marble floors. They reached the courtroom, where the judge would listen to their story. Anna's heart was pounding. She had never felt so nervous in her life. But she knew she had to be strong. For her children. The triplets sat quietly on the wooden benches. They watched the other people in the room, lawyers with serious faces, parents with worried eyes, and the judge who sat high above them, behind a big desk. Mia whispered to her brothers, "We can do this. Mom is strong, and we are strong too." Sam nodded. "We will fight for her. We won't let anyone take us away." Leo, though the quietest, squeezed his mother's hand and smiled faintly. He didn't say much, but his heart was full of hope. The judge entered the room, and everyone stood up out of respect. He was a middle-aged man with kind eyes, but today, his face was serious. He looked at the papers on his desk and then at the family before him. "Please, be seated," he said gently. Anna sat down with the triplets beside her. She looked into their faces, seeing all the love and trust shining there. This was her family, her whole world. The judge began to ask questions. "Anna, can you tell me about your children? How have you cared for them?" Anna's voice was steady as she spoke about the triplets' lives. She talked about the sleepless nights, the school events, and the simple joys of watching them grow. She shared how she had done everything she could to give them a safe and happy home. Mia, Sam, and Leo listened quietly. They felt proud of their mother. She was telling the truth, and they knew it. Then, the judge asked, "What about the father? Is he involved in their lives?" Anna's face grew sad. "I don't know who he is," she said softly. "I raised these children on my own." The triplets looked at each other, surprised. They had never heard much about their father before. It was always a quiet, empty part of their story. The lawyer for the other side spoke next. He asked many questions, trying to find reasons why Anna should not be the one to take care of the children. The triplets felt their stomachs tighten with every word. But Anna answered with courage. She told the truth, even when it was hard. She spoke about her love for the triplets and her wish to keep them together. The judge listened carefully. He looked at the triplets and then back at Anna. There was a moment of silence, heavy and full of meaning. Outside the courtroom window, the city moved on with its busy day, unaware of the small family fighting for a chance to stay united. Mia whispered to her brothers again, "We have to believe. No matter what." Sam smiled faintly. "We will never give up." Leo hugged his mother tightly. We are family. That's all that matters. Anna looked at her children, her heart full of both fear and hope. She knew the road ahead would not be easy, but she also knew they were stronger together. The triplets had no idea what surprises the day would bring, or how the judge's own past might change everything they thought they knew about their family. For now, they waited. Waiting for a chance to fight for the love they had, the family they dreamed of, and the future they hoped to build. The courtroom was filled with tension as the day's hearing continued. The triplets sat quietly beside their mother, holding her hand tightly. Each word spoken seemed heavier than the last. The fight to keep their family together was far from over. Anna felt the weight of the questions coming from the other side, the lawyers who wanted to separate her from her children. Their voices were sharp, their words designed to break her down. But Anna held her head high, determined to protect her family no matter what. The lawyer for the other side stood up and began. Anna, can you explain how you support your children? Do you have a steady job? How do you manage all the responsibilities of raising triplets on your own? Anna took a deep breath and answered honestly. I work at the local library. It's not much, but it helps us get by. I do everything I can to make sure the kids have food, clothes, and a safe place to live. I'm not perfect, but I love my children more than anything. The triplets listened closely. They had seen their mother work hard every day. She woke up early to prepare breakfast and stayed up late helping with schoolwork. Her love was their shelter. The lawyer pressed harder. And what about their education? Do you have the time and resources to give them what they need to succeed? Anna's eyes met the judge's. I do everything possible. I attend parent meetings, help with homework, and make sure they get to school every day. Sometimes it's difficult, but I will never give up on them. Sam felt a surge of pride. He whispered softly to Mia, Mom's so brave. Mia nodded, her eyes shining with tears. We have to believe she can win this. Leo sat quietly but was listening carefully. He knew their mother's love was strong. That was the truth they all needed. The opposing lawyer wasn't satisfied. What about their father? Surely, there is someone else who can help raise these children? Have you tried to find him? Anna's voice grew softer. I don't know who their father is. I have tried, but I have no answers. The children have only me. The judge took notes silently. He looked at Anna with a thoughtful expression but said nothing for the moment. Next, the lawyer called a social worker to testify. The woman had visited Anna's home several times to check on the children's living conditions. She described a small apartment filled with love, but also challenges. She spoke of Anna's dedication and the children's happy faces, but also mentioned the struggles of single parenthood. The triplets held their breath as the social worker spoke kindly of their mother's care, but reminded the court that raising 3 children at once was hard. Anna felt a flicker of hope. Maybe the judge would see her love through the difficulties. The judge then asked the triplets to speak, giving them a chance to share their feelings. Mia stood first. Her voice was steady, but her heart was pounding. I want to live with my mom. She is the one who takes care of us every day. She loves us, and we love her. Please don't take us away from her. Sam followed. I don't know my father. All I know is my mom. She is everything to me. Leo was last. He looked down for a moment, then looked up at the judge. I'm scared. I just want to be with my mom and my brothers and sister. We are a family. The room was silent. Even the opposing lawyer seemed moved by the children's words. Anna felt tears fill her eyes. Her children had spoken from their hearts, and she knew their love was real. The judge leaned forward and asked Anna a more personal question. Anna, can you tell me about your relationship with the father? Why don't you know who he is? Anna looked away for a moment. It was a long time ago. I was young and scared. I didn't have answers then, and I don't have them now. I've tried to move on for the sake of my children. The judge nodded slowly. I understand. This is a difficult situation. As the hearing continued, the opposing lawyer tried to introduce doubts. Are you sure Anna is the best person to raise these children? Couldn't there be someone else, perhaps a relative, who could provide a more stable home? Anna shook her head quietly. No one else has taken care of them like I have. No one else loves them the way I do. Mia's eyes burned with determination. We want to stay with our mom. She is our family. The judge looked at the triplets and then at Anna. He saw the pain in their eyes and the strength in Anna's voice. This was more than a legal case. It was about love, hope, and the fight to stay together. Outside the courtroom, the triplets didn't know what the judge would decide, but they felt closer than ever. Their fight was not just theirs, it was Anna's too. When the court adjourned for a break, Anna took her children's hands and said, "No matter what happens, I promise I will always be here for you." Sam smiled, wiping a tear from his cheek. "We believe you, Mom." Mia whispered, "We have to be strong. We're not giving up." Leo nodded quietly but held onto their mother's hand like a lifeline. The day was long and full of challenges, but the triplets and their mother were united in their fight. They didn't know what the next hours would bring, but they were ready to face it together. And somewhere deep inside, the judge's mind was already working through what he had heard. But no one yet knew how much this case would change his own life. For now, the battle was still on. The courtroom was quiet now. The judge sat back in his chair, his eyes narrowing as he studied the papers before him. He had listened carefully to the stories, the fights, and the love shared by Anna and her triplets. But one question still lingered in the room: who was the father? Anna sat with the triplets beside her, feeling both hopeful and afraid. She had told the truth. She didn't know the father's name or where he was. It was a secret buried deep in her past, one she rarely spoke about. But today, everything was out in the open. The judge cleared his throat and looked directly at Anna. "Anna, can you tell me more about the father? Is there anything else you can share?" Anna's hands trembled slightly. She looked down at her children, then back at the judge. "I don't know much. It was a long time ago. I was young and scared. The man left before the children were born. I never found him." Mia, Sam, and Leo exchanged glances. They had never heard their mother talk about this part of her life before. The silence that followed was heavy with meaning. The judge leaned forward, his voice soft but firm. "Have you tried to find him recently? For the sake of the children?" Anna shook her head. "I have, but it's like he disappeared. No one knows where he is." The triplets felt a quiet sadness settle over them. Their father was a mystery, a missing piece in their family puzzle. As the hearing paused for a moment, the judge looked thoughtful. He reached into a drawer and pulled out some papers, flipping through them carefully. Something caught his eye. Anna noticed the judge's change in expression but didn't say anything. The triplets waited, sensing that something was about to happen. The judge suddenly looked up and said, "Anna, I have to ask you this: where were the children born?" Anna answered, "At the city hospital, 6 years ago." The judge nodded. "And their birth certificates, do they have a father's name listed?" Anna hesitated, then said, "No, there is no name. The space is blank." The judge's eyes lingered on the documents again. He seemed lost in thought for a moment. Mia leaned forward slightly, whispering to her brothers, "Why does the judge look so strange?" Sam shrugged quietly, but Leo's curiosity was growing. "I think he knows something." The courtroom began to fill with new energy as the judge asked to see the birth certificates closely. He examined the names, dates, and details. Then, something in the judge's mind clicked, a memory from years ago. He quietly reached for his phone and made a call. No one heard what he said, but his face showed surprise and confusion. Anna noticed this and whispered, "Is everything okay?" The judge gave a small nod but said, "Please continue with your case." Inside, he was trying to understand something very important, a connection he hadn't seen before. After the break, the judge asked Anna more questions about her past. "Have you ever met the children's father again, even for a moment?" Anna shook her head. "No, I was on my own. I wanted to protect the children from pain." The triplets sat closer to their mother, feeling her strength and love. The judge then asked, "Anna, do you have any letters, photos, or anything from the past that might tell us more?" Anna looked surprised but reached into her bag and pulled out an old envelope. Inside were letters and photos from long ago, some with a man's name written on the back mark. The judge took the envelope carefully and looked at the name. His heart skipped a beat. As he read the letters, memories flooded back, memories of a young man he once knew, a man who had disappeared from his life. The judge's face became pale. He suddenly realized something he had never admitted to himself before. Mia noticed the judge's change but didn't understand why. The courtroom waited quietly as the judge set the letters down and cleared his throat. "Anna," he said slowly, "thank you for sharing this." Anna nodded, unsure what would happen next. The judge looked at the triplets and said softly, "This case is about more than just custody. It is about family, love, and truth." The triplets felt a flicker of hope but didn't know what the judge meant. Later that day, the judge stepped into a private room and called an old friend. He spoke quietly but urgently. "I need to know more about Mark," he said. "I think he might be connected to this case more than we thought." The judge was beginning to uncover a truth that would change everything. Meanwhile, Anna and the triplets waited outside the courtroom. They didn't know the judge's secret, but they hoped for a positive outcome. Mia whispered, "I hope this ends well for all of us." Sam added, "We just want to be together." Leo looked up at their mother and said, "We are a family. Nothing can change that." Anna smiled through tears. "You are right, Leo. No matter what, we are family." The day closed with a heavy silence, full of questions and hope. The triplets and their mother held onto each other, ready to face whatever came next. The judge was no longer just an observer in this case, he was about to become a part of their story. The courtroom was quiet as the judge returned to his seat. His mind was still busy with the letters and photos he had just seen. The name Mark kept echoing in his thoughts. Something inside him was pulling him closer to the truth, but he wasn't ready to say it out loud yet. Anna watched the judge carefully, her heart pounding. She wondered what the letters meant to him. The triplets, sitting next to her, felt the tension in the room and held each other's hands tightly. The judge cleared his throat and said, "Before we continue, there is some new information I would like to review." He motioned to a court assistant, who brought forward more documents. The judge studied them carefully: birth records, hospital files, and old photographs. Then, suddenly, his face changed. He looked shocked and confused. Anna noticed and asked quietly, "Is something wrong, Your Honor?" The judge took a deep breath and looked at Anna with gentle eyes. "Anna, I need to ask you a very important question. Have you ever met a man named Mark, recently or in the past?" Anna shook her head. "No, I have never met him." The judge nodded slowly. "Thank you. Please bear with me a moment." He closed his eyes for a second and then opened them, looking directly at the triplets. "You see," he said carefully, "this name, Mark, is very familiar to me. It is connected to my own past." Mia's eyes grew wide. Sam and Leo looked at each other, confused but curious. The judge continued, "I have been reviewing some records that suggest Mark is someone I once knew many years ago." Anna looked shocked. "You knew him?" The judge nodded. "Yes. We were close once, but I lost contact with him a long time ago." The triplets listened closely, feeling their hearts race. Something was changing. The judge paused and took a deep breath. There is more. The documents show that Mark is listed as the father on the triplets' birth certificates. Anna's hands trembled. She looked at the children, then back at the judge. I don't understand. The certificates I have do not have a father's name. The judge explained, there was a mistake or an update made recently. The hospital files were reviewed, and Mark's name appeared. Mia's voice was shaky. Does this mean? The judge nodded slowly. It means that Mark is very likely your father. The room fell silent. Anna reached out and held her children's hands tightly. This is a lot to take in, she said softly. We have waited so long to know. Sam's voice was low but steady. Does this change anything for us? The judge looked thoughtful. It could. But before anything else, I want to be sure. We need to learn more about Mark. At that moment, the courtroom door opened, and a man entered quietly. He was tall, with kind eyes and a calm smile. The triplets stared, their breath caught in their throats. Anna looked at the man and whispered, could it be him? The judge stood up and said, this is the man we have been searching for, Mark. Mark nodded respectfully. I know this must be difficult. I'm sorry I wasn't there before. Mia stepped forward, her voice trembling. Why didn't you come back? Why didn't you find us? Mark looked down, pain in his eyes. I was scared. I made mistakes. But I want to be here now. I want to be part of your lives. The triplets looked at each other, unsure what to say. Anna spoke softly, we have waited so long for answers. Mark nodded. I know. I am here to make things right. The judge watched the reunion carefully. This was more than a legal case now, it was the beginning of something new. The courtroom filled with emotion. The triplets, who had spent so long wondering about their father, now faced him for the first time. Leo asked quietly, will you be our father now? Mark smiled gently. If you let me, yes. Mia, Sam, and Leo looked at their mother. Anna smiled with tears in her eyes. It's okay. This is family. The judge stepped forward. This case will continue, but today we have learned much more about the past. The future is not certain, but love and honesty will guide the way. As the day ended, the triplets walked out of the courtroom with Anna and Mark by their side. It was the first time in years that their family felt complete. The sun shone warmly outside, and the air felt lighter. For the triplets, it was the beginning of a new chapter, a chapter filled with hope, forgiveness, and the chance to build a real family together. After the courtroom hearing, the triplets and Anna walked out into the warm sunlight, holding hands tightly. For years, they had dreamed of this moment, meeting Mark, the man who might be their father. But now that it was here, their hearts were filled with many feelings, hope, fear, and curiosity. Mark stood beside them, looking nervous but kind. He wasn't sure how the triplets would feel about him or how Anna would react. This was the first time they had all been together, and everything was new. Mia took a deep breath and looked at Mark. So, you're our father? Mark smiled softly. I believe I am, Mia. I want to be your father if you will let me. Sam studied Mark's face carefully. Why did you leave? Why didn't you try to find us before? Mark looked down and spoke honestly. I was young and afraid. I made mistakes. I didn't know how to be a father. But I never stopped thinking about you all. Leo, the youngest, was quiet but curious. Will you stay with us now? Mark nodded. Yes, Leo. I want to be part of your lives, if you want me. Anna watched this moment quietly, feeling a mixture of relief and uncertainty. She had raised these children alone for years, and now, suddenly, a stranger stood in front of them claiming to be their father. Could she trust him? Could they? Mia reached out and touched Mark's hand. "It's a lot to take in," she said. "But we want to get to know you." Sam smiled faintly. "We want to know who you are." Leo looked up at Mark with hope in his eyes. "Can you tell us about yourself?" Mark smiled warmly. "Of course. I want you to know everything. I want us to build a family together." Anna nodded. "That is all any of us want." Later that day, they all sat together in a small room near the courthouse. Mark shared stories about his childhood, his dreams, and the mistakes he had made. The triplets listened, surprised to learn about the man they had never known. Mark told them how he had left because he didn't feel ready to be a father. "I was scared I wouldn't be good enough," he said. "But I see now that I was wrong." Mia looked at her brothers and said, "Maybe it's time to forgive him." Sam nodded. "We can try." Leo smiled. "It's okay. We have a chance now." Anna smiled too. This is the first step toward healing. For the first time in a long time, the triplets felt hope growing inside their hearts. They knew the road ahead would be difficult, but they were ready to take the first step together. Over the next few days, Mark visited often. He helped with homework, played games, and even cooked simple meals. The triplets began to see him as more than a stranger, they saw him as someone who cared. Anna watched this new family forming with cautious hope. She knew trust would take time, but she was ready to give Mark a chance. One afternoon, as the sun set behind the city, Mia asked Mark quietly, "Will you promise to always be there for us?" Mark looked at her with tears in his eyes. "I promise, Mia. I will never leave you again." Sam added, "We want to be a family. All of us." Leo hugged Mark tightly. "I'm happy you're here." Mark held them close. "Me too, Leo. Me too." The judge watched these moments from a distance, feeling the power of love and forgiveness. He knew the legal battle was not over, but this was the true victory, the chance for a family to heal. The triplets learned that family was not just about blood, but about love, trust, and being there for one another. Anna smiled, feeling a lightness in her heart. "We have a long way to go, but together, we can do anything." Mia looked at her mother and said, "We're ready." Sam nodded. "We believe in us." Leo laughed softly. "We are family." And in that moment, the triplets, Anna and Mark, knew that no matter what happened in the courtroom, they had found something far more important: a chance to be a family. The days passed quickly, and the small family was slowly beginning to feel more like a real family. Mark visited often, and Anna watched as her children's smiles grew wider and their laughter returned. Still, the biggest challenge was yet to come: the final court decision. The courtroom was packed once again. Friends and neighbors had come to support Anna and the triplets. Mark sat beside them, looking calm but nervous. Everyone waited for the judge to speak. The judge entered, his face serious but kind. He knew this case was more than just about custody. It was about healing and hope. "Today," he began, "we must make a decision that will change many lives. But before I speak, I want to say this: family is not just about who is related by blood. It is about love, care, and commitment." Anna felt tears welling in her eyes. The triplets squeezed her hand tightly. The judge continued, "I have listened to all sides carefully. I have seen Anna's love and strength. I have met Mark and seen his willingness to make things right. And most importantly, I have listened to the children." Mia looked at her brothers. Sam nodded, and Leo smiled. They all knew the judge was about to say something important. The judge took a deep breath. "It is clear to me that Anna is a devoted mother. She has done everything in her power to provide for her children. Mark has come forward with honesty and a sincere desire to be part of their lives." The room was silent. Everyone waited for the judge's decision. The judge looked at Mark. "Mark, being a father means more than simply sharing DNA. It means being there, showing love, and supporting your children. Mark nodded solemnly. I understand, Your Honor. I want to be that father. The judge then turned to the triplets. And you, children, have shown great courage. Your wish to stay together and be with your mother is clear. Mia spoke up bravely. We want to stay with Mom. And we want Mark to be part of our family. Sam and Leo agreed, their voices steady. The judge smiled softly. Then, I am making a decision today that honors your wishes. Anna's heart raced. The judge said, Anna will remain the primary guardian of the children. Mark will have legal rights to be involved in their lives, with visitation and responsibilities. Mark looked relieved, and Anna's eyes filled with tears of joy. The judge added, but this is just the beginning. A family must work hard every day to build trust and love. After the hearing, the family left the courthouse feeling lighter. The triplets held hands tightly, knowing their home was safe. Mark walked beside them, looking at Anna with gratitude. Thank you for giving me this chance. Anna smiled. We will take it one day at a time. Over the next weeks, Mark became a steady presence. He took the triplets to the park, helped with school projects, and joined family dinners. The children slowly grew to trust him, and Anna saw the change in their eyes. One evening, as they sat around the dinner table, Mia said, I'm glad you're here, Dad. Sam smiled, me too. Leo giggled, can we play soccer this weekend? Mark laughed. Absolutely. Anna watched this new family with a full heart. She knew the road ahead would not be easy, but with love, they could overcome anything. One night, Anna sat quietly with Mark. Thank you for not giving up on us. Mark took her hand. Thank you for letting me try. They both knew that forgiveness was a journey, not a single moment. The triplets were learning that family was about second chances and believing in one another. As the sun set, the small family sat together on the porch, hopeful for the future. Anna whispered, no matter what, we are family. Mia smiled, and we always will be. Sam nodded, together. Leo yawned and said softly, I love you all. Mark wrapped his arms around them. I love you too. In the quiet evening, they knew they had found something special, the chance to heal, grow, and be a family. The weeks turned into months, and the family's bond grew stronger every day. What once felt like a broken family was now slowly healing into something beautiful and whole. Anna watched her children laugh and play with Mark, and her heart was full of hope. Mark had proven himself to be a good father. He was patient, kind, and always ready to help. The triplets no longer saw him as a stranger but as someone they could trust and love. It was not always easy, and there were times when the past pain returned, but together they faced every challenge. One sunny afternoon, the family decided to take a walk in the park near their home. The air was warm, and the leaves rustled softly in the breeze. The triplets ran ahead, chasing each other, their laughter filling the air. Anna walked beside Mark, her hand gently touching his arm. I'm proud of how far we've come, she said softly. Mark smiled. Me too. It hasn't been perfect, but it's real. They stopped by a bench and sat down, watching the children play. Mia had picked a wildflower and was giving it to Leo. Sam was showing off his soccer skills, kicking a ball around with some neighborhood kids. Anna sighed happily. I never thought this moment would come. Mark looked at her with warm eyes. Neither did I. But it's never too late for a new beginning. The triplets ran back to them, tired but smiling. Mia hugged her mother tightly. Mom, I'm happy. Sam nodded. We all are. Leo smiled up at Mark. Thanks for being here. Mark knelt down and hugged all three. I promise to always be here for you. That night, as they sat around the dinner table, the family shared stories and dreams. Anna spoke about her hopes for the future. "I want us to be a family that sticks together, no matter what." Mia added, "We can help each other and be strong." Sam said, "And always tell the truth." Leo laughed, "And play lots of soccer." Mark smiled at them all. "That's a promise I will keep." Days passed, and life felt different better. The triplets were doing well in school, their smiles brighter than ever. Mark and Anna worked together to make sure the children felt loved and safe. One evening, Anna found a letter from the judge, thanking them for their courage and trust. He wrote that their story had touched him deeply and reminded him why he became a judge to help families find hope. Anna showed the letter to the triplets. "See? Even the judge believes in us." Mia smiled proudly. "We proved that family is about love." Sam said, "And that we can overcome anything." Leo looked at them all and said softly, "I love my family." Anna hugged her children close. "We are strong because we are together." Mark nodded, "Together, we can face anything." The months passed, and the family continued to grow in love. Mark became a father in every way, not just in name but in heart and action. Anna saw her children blossom with confidence and happiness. One afternoon, the triplets sat with Anna and Mark, drawing pictures of their future. Mia drew a big house with a garden. Sam drew a soccer field. Leo drew their whole family holding hands. Anna smiled, tears in her eyes. "Your dreams will come true." Mark added, "And we will make sure of it." As the sun set that day, the family stood together outside their home, watching the sky turn orange and pink. Anna whispered, "This is our new beginning." Mia smiled, "And we will never be apart." Sam nodded, "Because family is forever." Leo laughed, "And full of love." Mark wrapped his arms around them all. "I am grateful every day to be your father." Anna looked at Mark and said, "Thank you for coming back." Mark smiled, "Thank you for giving me a chance." The triplets smiled back, their hearts full of hope and happiness. In the quiet evening, with the stars beginning to shine above, the family knew they had found something special, a true home, built on love, trust, and second chances. And so, their story ended not with an ending, but with a new beginning, a family ready to face the future together, with open hearts and endless love.